Okay, it's just so pretty out here. I thought I would do one more read aloud from Colorado before we leave. And this read aloud that I brought with me is called Jumper, a day in the life of a backyard jumping spider by Jessica Lannon. And this was one of the books that one of my students, Finley, bought me from a school book fair. And you guys know, if you know me, how much I love insects. And even though I don't love spiders, um, I think they're cool. Um, and I know that every living thing has a purpose and is part of a cycle that we all live in. And so they should be respected as long as they're not hurting you. And so let's read about Jumper. So Finley bought it for me. And this author slash illustrator did a really good job of putting lots of details into the pictures. I love this. The girl has a shadow. There's all kinds of little details you can find in the pictures if you look. There's a bird, or no, butterfly, sorry, and its shadow. This boy's sitting on this fence or this wall with a little kitty cat. They've got a flamingo in their front yard. Oh, and over here is the spider coming down from its web. What if you were very small, smaller than a car or dog, a bar of soap, or a bottle cap, as small as a bean? What would your world be like? And you see how they did that? They wrote the word smaller and smaller. You can hear the airplanes in the background because we're over here not too far from the airport. We're not right next to it, but that is Jumper's world. Look at him. He's super cool. He's looking and he sees all these great big people. He's just sitting back and observing, and nobody's even noticing him. Jumper is hungry and ready to hunt. Oh, it's a she. She walks along the garden fence. Her tufted feet let her hook on to its surface. A line of silk shows where she has been. Did you realize that? That all of those spider webs, like the silk that you see, that is like a visual path of where the spider has been, where the spider has walked. Imagine walking not just on the ground, but on the walls and on the ceiling too. You wouldn't need to be afraid of heights with your own built-in safety line. If she falls, she's okay because she's got something that's going to keep her safe. That is how Jumper moves. The corner garden is a jungle where she can find and stalk her prey. But Jumper also faces danger of her own. What's the danger? What's the predator? What's the thing that eats her? What if you could sense tiny vibrations through your elbows and your knees? You wouldn't miss a bug's soft steps, sorry, or the rush of beating wings. Look at that. Those are like sound waves going through the air. She can sense them with her elbows and her knees. My students should know what that is. Dandelion. This is how Jumper feels. Jumper hides from the Carolina chickadee just in time. Shoo. Jumper climbs among the beans. A grasshopper is warming in the sun. She would make a tasty meal. The grasshopper is big and strong, but Jumper is a gifted hunter. Can she clear the distance? She's gonna eat that? Whoa. And look at this. The author / illustrator drew little drops of water, and they're little raised bumps. That's a definite detail. What if you could jump 5 times your body length? You could cross the garden without a running start. Whoop! But that's what Jumper can do. Whoop! Because Jumper's a jumping spider. This is how Jumper jumps. Oh, but she is not fast enough today. That's a bummer. There's those water droplets. Down, down, Jumper ventures deeper into the garden, still searching for prey. Meanwhile, the drone of wings grows in the distance. Ooh, I see ants. I see mushrooms. Oh, and there. That's creative that they drew that in there. You detect sound using tiny hairs in your ears. Did you know that? What if your whole body was covered in those hairs and you could hear through your arms and your legs? Crazy. Now look at this. If that was true, you would hear all of these sounds. Mine! Bzzz. And then this one. Whoosh. Screech. Wow. I think the world would be kind of loud. Zzz. That is how Jumper hears. She scoots to safety, hidden from the parasitic wasp. Oof, just in time. I guess it's a good thing that she has such good hearing, huh? It keeps her safe. Get this page to turn. Oh, that's why I can't get this page to turn. Oh, look at that. Quiet comes again to the garden. Jumper walks through plants that seem tall enough to reach the clouds. But what will she find to eat? A shadow passes overhead. Jumper turns her dark eyes to the sky. There are other things in the garden. Strange things. Huge and incomprehensible. Look at this. This is pretty cool. Whoop. Whoop. Let me see if I can hold it up. Oof. That is big and foldy. Look at how big that is. Wow. So look at this. This is how Jumper sees. That's crazy. If you close one eye, the whole scene, what does it say? I can't read upside down and backwards like that. The world seems flat. Imagine if you had 8 eyes instead of only 2. Then you could see in every direction at once, above and behind and all around. That is how Jumper sees. That's crazy. That's a cool addition to the book. I like that. Can you tell I haven't read this book before? Footsteps fade away, but now there is something else, a softer buzz from nervous wings. Jumper climbs for a better view. Her keen eyes help her judge the distance. She pulls a safety line of silk and fixes it fast. And when the moment is just right, dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. Let's see if I'm right. She jumps. Let's see if she's successful. Ah! She was successful. She is a hunter in her garden jungle, both predator, she's a predator now, and prey, our small and stealthy friend and neighbor, Jumper. So that was neat. That kind of showed us a jumping spider's perspective. And then this tells us all about how does Jumper do it. It tells us about the spider paws. And look, it's giving us a diagram of the claws. And it says sopula. Interesting. A spider's feet are a bit like a cat's paws. Jumping spiders have tufts of hair called scopulas and tiny claws that help them grip onto little bumps on almost any surface. This allows them to walk on walls and even upside down. And then it says that silk tougher than steel. Spiders can make up to 7 different types of silk through their internal silk glands and external organs called spinnerets, located at the end of the spider's abdomen. The different types of silk are used for different purposes. Jumping spiders use the toughest type, major ampulate silk, for a drag line that they leave wherever they go. This very flexible silk is tougher than even steel or Kevlar. Whoa, that is crazy. And then it's talking about a world of vibrations. I won't read it all to you. Incomparable athletes. It's talking about how they can jump. And it's talking about how spiders hear. And it's talking about their exceptional vision. And it tells you all about their eyes. So if you wanted to read any of this yourself, you could pause the video and read this yourself. I'll put it in the screen so you could do that if you wanted to. So it's telling you all about, sorry, let me back up a little bit, the jumping spider and its different features that it has been given to help it survive. That's really cool. How we are all so wonderfully and different and made differently. Ooh, look. And here's some more information. Let me move my finger. So if you wanted to pause it, you could. Spiders everywhere. The anatomy of a jumping spider. The regal spider. Some more diagrams. And then up here, the life cycle of a jumping spider. And this says growing pains. And this says courting danger. So if you wanted to pause any of these to read them, you can. And then this has a glossary. Remember, we talked about the glossary helps you to know the words that might have been unfamiliar in the story. And here is a note from the author. And then over here It's finding and identifying spiders, and it's showing you how, sorry, that guy is driving really loud. It's showing you how to find spiders and identify them. You don't want to touch them, you leave them alone. And then up here, it's giving you an important note. And if you were in my class, you already know that we read a book called I'm Trying to Love Spiders, because again, I don't love spiders necessarily, but I respect them. And it's important because they are important. It says, please don't kill that spider. Many people are taught to fear spiders, but most spiders, including jumpers, are completely harmless to humans. They are tiny and helpless compared to us. Imagine meeting a creature as big as a skyscraper. Would it make sense for the skyscraper to be afraid of you? Spiders are an important part of the ecosystem. Feel like I've said that. And they eat insects that humans consider pests. In fact, they are so effective at eating flies that some scientists have given them the nickname fly tigers. Oh, so from now on, you could call it, instead of a spider, you could call it a fly tiger. Oh, that's a cute name. So this book, Jumper, was bought for me from Finley. Thanks, Fen. And I hope you enjoyed it. I think it's always important to learn about and respect everything that is in our environment. Like I said, as long as it doesn't hurt you, it serves a purpose. It's there for a reason. All right, so that was the read aloud. This is my last day in Colorado Springs at my mother-in-law's house. And so I wanted to read this book to you, and I wanted to say I love you, and I believe in you, and I hope you're having a good summer, and I hope I get to see you real soon. Bye.